This meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Okay. So if any member of the public would like to comment on the agenda item, please fill out one of the blue comment cards and give it to the board secretary. If you're attending virtually through Zoom, place comments in the chat. And the board secretary will call on you at the appropriate time. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. Current policy allows for any item on the agenda to be open for comment. In that spirit, we have Judy Ahrens who would like to speak to agenda item 1.0.
Yeah, close the door. There's no noise in here.
No, that would close the public out.
Am I starting?
Hmm?
Am I starting?
Yes, please.
Good evening, board members. Judy Ahrens, resident of Gilpin County. And tonight would like to speak on agenda 1.0, which we all stood this evening and we said the Pledge of Allegiance. We respected the flag, and that's a really good thing. And you know, my goal is to make sure, I know there's a little bit of this differences on because of a religion basis or some other philosophy that I understand, according to something I received from one of the board members, that students in the class don't have to stand and or just don't have to salute during the Pledge of Allegiance. And here's my take on it. I think if we just had Veterans Day, and it was a very slight important day, and a lot of veterans, you know, they lost limbs, they just fought a hard war for the sake that we have the freedom that we do today. And by that freedom, it's represented in the American flag. So what I'm suggesting that hoping that all the classrooms, when that bell rings every day, I know according to the Oregon statutes, you only have to say it maybe a couple times a week. It's very kind of like, you know, wishy-washy. But I think we should have such pride in that all the students stand. They said some have you suggested because of religion reasons. And you know, when I go back, we can go back years ago, and maybe and it's tradition that we stand. There might be some religions that say you don't have to recite the pledge, which is fine. But I think showing respect to the American flag is like real important. This is what this country has been built on, and this is what we're focused on. This is what people have died for. So if it's a ruling that the students, some of them don't have to, according to this, I think it's a 339-875. They don't have to salute the flag. Maybe all of you principals through your teachers could share and educate the students that this is such an important thing. We have some here this evening that have done a great job in sharing with our veterans, etc. So I think because I noticed that all of you stood this evening. It wasn't because of religious whatever or some kind of I don't feel like it tonight, but you all stood. And so maybe you're such a good example to go back into your classroom, your principal, and with your teachers, and say it's so important. And if students don't want to, for whatever reason, maybe we can encourage them in why it's important that we salute the American flag. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Judy. Moving on to 2.0, communications and presentations. Are there any written communications?
Trying to think. No. No. Should be ready for that question. I was not. I apologize.
2.2, we've covered. 2.3, financial report. Are there any questions on the financial report? Okay. 2.3.1, GPSD CWD planning audit. Are there any questions? 2.4, full faith and credit project report. Any questions? 2.4 personnel report. Enroll or 2.5 enrollment report. Quiet crowd. Okay, please remember to state your name when making a motion or seconding a motion, as well as when you cast your vote on any item on the agenda. Helps Tanya. 3.0, all items on the consent agenda can be approved by a single motion unless a board member or a member of the board or superintendent's meeting requests an item to be changed, removed, or voted on separately. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda for the meeting minutes from the last 3 meetings?
Member Schmidt moves to accept the consent agenda as is.
Member Sable seconds.
Having a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none. Tanya, can I have a roll call vote?
Member Tisdall,
Yes.
member Schmidt,
Yes.
member Smith,
Yes.
member Brownell,
Yes.
member Wilkins,
Yes.
member Sable.
Yes. Yes.
Moving on to reports. 4.1 Lincoln Elementary, Principal Smith.
Okay. I'm very excited to share with you guys tonight. We're going to hear from the students themselves. So I'm going to keep that to a minimum. I'm going to invite my crew in. And just want to say that our teachers, we have spent a lot of time and effort in really cultivating our kids to have a bunch of opportunity. I'm gonna kind of finish it this little bit.
I know, you want to come down
Bring
through
them
here?
over here
Yeah.
in the round.
We're gonna just-
I don't know.
Yeah. I want to introduce Stephanie Brabham leading the charge there. Daniel Okekar right here. And Angie Lamonaco. And we'll have students, you guys want to introduce yourself as you guys talk? Is this quick? Oh, I didn't know. Okay. Sammy, do you want to go ahead and just say who you are?
My name is Sammy Hayball. My name is Olivia Clellan. My name is Emma. My name is Dakota Lance. My name is Annabelle Taylor. My name is Jalen Dowling. My name is Brayden Chalmers.
All right, so what we're gonna kind of present to you tonight is focusing on connection, belonging, and engagement, and how we're getting students involved. Our teacher leaders here that are leading students, and that really looking at belonging as being that root, and it's something that we do through these opportunities for our students. So the first student activity we have that we're going to highlight is peer mentoring. So who's talking about peer mentoring? So a little bit of background. We have 3rd, 4th, 5th grade students that have volunteered some of their time to give back to the school community, and they've been pushing to support students for academic help. Sometimes they're needing a little help with friends, whatever it might be. And they have scheduled times that they go throughout the week. Our program has grown pretty significantly, which is really exciting. Their kids can be mentors and mentees, but I'm going to let them talk about that. So turn it over to you guys.
So our first question was, what skills have you learned as a peer mentor that you think are important? Remember, just give a thumbs up. I think that's something you want to share. Sammy, you want to take us off?
So what's also good about peer mentoring is that you get to learn with the kids and help them and kind of be like the assistant of a teacher and just like help them learn and see their smile on their faces when you come in. Skills I've learned from peer mentoring are to be a leader and to make sure nobody's left out. Skills that I've learned is playing and learning with other students that aren't exactly your level can. I think is important is because you can get to them to respect you.
And how has participating in peer mentoring helped you feel connected to the classroom or at Lincoln? Thumbs up, anybody? Annabelle?
Peer mentoring, is, I think it's with like being as a group with one other kid that might not be as good as like math or whatever you help them out with. And it helps them.
Helps them feel. How do you help them feel?
Helps them feel like they're being included. It helps me by like you get to like not only work with them on like school stuff, like or like you can work with them at recess too, and that can be a lot. Peer mentoring, the skills or participating in peer mentoring has helped me become a better leader and a helper to like kids who need help and just to make sure nobody's left out. How it's helped me and the kids that I've gone and helped is it's helped me like work better with kids and like be more patient with them and teach them stuff that I may have forgotten and like just like help them with that.
Thank you. There's a picture of our whole crew, right, at the start of the year. Guys have grown a little bit. But they have shirts. What's your shirt say, guys?
We will change.
Right? Because the work that they're doing is so important.
All right, so it's awesome to be able to share all the fun stuff we're doing here at Lincoln. And the things that we have for the kids is chess club. And we started it during the pandemic and it was online, and then we transitioned to in-person thanks to a teacher over at Allendale who turned us on to this, Ms. Baggs, who turned us on to this program called Chess for Success. So they sponsor our club and they send boards out for all the students. So at the end of the year, they all get to take home their own chess set, which is awesome, and t-shirts, and they pay our registration fees for competitions. So last year, both Allendale and Lincoln got to go to the state competition in Portland, which was great. And we have a short little video just to give you a sense of what it's like. So if you want to go to the next slide. Next one. I don't know how.
You guys.
It's a way to get it to. There we go.
What's up, guys? This is Case, and today I am here after school with the Chess Club kids, and it's a great opportunity for 3rd through 5th graders to learn how to play chess. It's really fun, and I'm gonna show you guys what we do basically. Hi, what's your guys' name? Can you tell us a little bit about Chess Club?
My name's Annabelle. I'm Guyana. And in Chess Club, there are names for pieces such as rook, king, knight, and pawn. I like how fun it is and how competitive it is. The game goes like when you start, I already have so much plans to capture stuff.
What is your name? What do you guys like about Chess Club?
My name's Katrina and I like Chess Club because it's fun and I get to meet new friends and I think about my moves. My name's Fiona and I like Chess Club because it's really fun and I get to learn more about chess. And people have really good sportsmanship.
And you can go to state, you grow better at chess. It's just a fun experience. I like chess. It's because it makes you smarter and it's really fun.
How
So just, this is Bradham and I coach it, and we've got 45 kids signed up for a year, so it's almost like a whole grade level for the kids that, you know, are getting chess every year at Lincoln, which is awesome. I thought when we started, I thought maybe 10 kids would sign up, but it's a really cool program.
Oh, if I would have just clicked next. I know.
And I maybe just have one of them share for each of the questions.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the video covered some of it. You want to say anything about this book? Sammy?
It makes you a better sport. It makes you like, it makes you communicate better with your community. And it just helps you learn more and like you can play with your friends also. And it's a really fun game.
Olivia?
Also, it makes you smarter and it like helps you focus more because you're like focusing on just like one thing instead of all the other games beside you.
All right. Junior coaching, another awesome program for kids to get involved.
So yeah, so junior coaches, again, this is something started right before the pandemic hit. We had a big initiative to get our recess, have more structured recess. So more activities that kids could join in, more games, common language around games. So that we all have a field game now every day. When the field's available, it's not raining. So that a bunch of kids have a game that they can join in and have a running kind of tag game, but it's structured. But a big part of it is having junior coaches. And so 4th and 5th graders go out with the younger grades and help out, kind of like peer mentoring, but on the playground. And so we've got some junior coaches here to share with us. Like, Emma, you want to start?
Participating in junior coaching has helped me grow because it taught me new skills that help me now and will help me in my future. And it has helped me become less. Participating in junior coaching has helped me engage with other kids that are not in my grade. Junior coaching, I enjoy a lot about it because I'm being able to help other kids on their games that they play on their phone.
Olivia?
Participating in junior coaching has helped me become a better person because, or like student, because you can, if somebody's feeling left out, you can go there and make their day brighter and become their friend.
Taylor?
Not just help, but participating in junior coaching has helped me with communicating with little kids, not getting mad at little kids and teaching little kids game like banded tag, gaga ball, dope the goose.
Sammy?
Junior coaching has helped me learn more and like get along with younger kids more, and it's just helped me with all parenting.
You all make a really big difference out there, so thank you. It's awesome.
Especially with those kinders, it's pretty adorable to watch
Yeah,
them lead
they
them in
love
these
you.
big games and
They
watching
also
them follow around.
Yeah, rainy day recess.
Yeah.
Your coaches are out in the
Right,
classroom
often.
with assistants to kind of help support in that one too. All right, so choir started as like, just a certain time of the year with honor choir. And what was found was that there were lots of kids that like to sing more than just a couple weeks a year. And so I'm gonna let the kids talk a little bit about choir, what that looks like.
Yes, so how has participating in choir helped you grow? Okay, let's hear from Olivia.
Participating in choirs has helped me grow with becoming less stage fright and like helping like just my voice grow, and hearing my voice makes me feel so accomplished, just like singing in front of people.
Emma?
I enjoy most about choir is vocalizing because it helps me with my stage fright, and it also helps me sing. Choir helps me by getting to like sing in front of a group for solos and singing like in an alto or soprano.
Sammy?
Choirs helps me by getting less stage fright and more communicating with my friends, and just like it's helped me like with singing, and it's helped me just be better.
All right, so
So-
we also, go ahead.
So is this the after-school choir?
It
Oh.
is, yeah.
And the children do have music classes during,
Yeah, it's in addition. Yep, it's in addition.
and do you have a special name for the choir?
I don't know, I don't think so. I think it's just our elementary choir.
Yeah, we just call it.
I remember the old days when there were Highland troubadours, that's why I asked.
And one of the things that that's our second year kind of trying to roll out, right, going into work with Avid, right, trying to roll out some of those strategies. And so we've gotten to take a few teachers to Summer Institute. We hope to take some more this coming year, but really looking at how we're increasing that engagement for our students, which I'm gonna let
Yeah, so Daniel and I had the opportunity to go to Summer Institute, Avid, and so we came back with all these really cool tools and strategies to help promote student engagement. And Stephanie, of course, amazing team member on board, we brought Avid and we shared with her what we learned. We were really excited to launch this off the first week of school. The things that the students were teaching, silent hand signals, tracking the speaker, organized note taking, and daily agenda. Those are the things that were helping them not only to be successful in fourth grade, but fifth grade, middle school, so on and so forth. So it's a scaffolding approach, Avid, and it's something, you know, that could start as early as kindergarten. But these things, we're seeing students already become more comfortable with public speaking, with you know, taking those courageous moments to share their thoughts and ask each other for support. They rely on each other. And also to help them to retain the concepts learned, making school more meaningful. You know, there's a purpose to their learning with the agendas that we do. And then note-taking habits that they're starting now. It's just gonna make each year a little bit less difficult. One less thing for them to, you know, worry about, as especially when they approach middle school where they got other things going on, you know. So these are things we hope to help them to be more successful. And as you notice, our students, they're starting to do that here. They have the silent hand signals. They're in the habit of tracking the speaker. They understand the purpose of it. You know, they're being respectful to each other when they're tracking, but it's also helping them to remember the information and promote communication. So in the next slides, we're just going to show you some examples of what that looks like. So to students tracking the speaker, that means, you know, and sometimes the students will remind each other politely to track them. And then when they agree, how do they agree? Silently, without calling out, without it being disruptive. So these are active engagement signals, especially for some of the shy, quiet kids who aren't ready yet to share. So that's their way of being involved. And for our teachers, it gives us a pulse of where they're at and where our class is at with the information. And let's look at the next slide. And so this is their organized note taking, and also one of the things we focus on is Wicker. So their writing, reading, inquiry, organization, note taking skills. And so we're encouraging them to show different approaches to share their thinking, to keep their notes organized. And also, again, continuing that scaffold approach, we're comparing their third grade writing to fourth grade writing. And, you know, in efforts to get them ready for fifth grade. So these are the little steps that we take, they're increments, but they're helping them to become more organized. These are the agendas, so they record what they're learning in class. So, you know, it's not just something that they just did and they go home and forget about. It's a conversation they can have with their families when they take their agendas home, and they can reflect on their learning. And our goal is eventually for them to recognize the prior knowledge and apply it, and recognize that everything we're doing in class has a purpose and that it is scaffolded. And so these are just little steps again that we're taking to get them ready. And next slide. we have some questions to ask them that they can share about Avid. So class, how would you say that tracking the speaker and using silent hand signals is helping you grow as a scholar?
Tracking the speaker has helped me, so if I don't track, I can't hear the instructions, but if I track, I can hear the instructions.
Raiden?
So the hand signals. They help me focus and help me be responsible.
Annabelle?
It helps me when we're tracking the speaker, it helps me like remember what they were saying. And if we don't listen any signal, it'll be everybody just blurting it out. And it'll be a little too loud. Using silent hand signals helps me by if you are in like a math problem and the teacher says raise your hands and you've been raising your hand to use the bathroom, and when if she calls on he or she calls on you and you answer that, and you like get to like she might he or she might ignore you. Tracking the speaker and using silent hand signals is helpful to me because it helps me be a more successful student by listening.
Silent hand signals has helped me grow because if you're blurting out while somebody's talking, it might just show them that you're not listening. And tracking the speaker has also helped me because if I don't track the speaker, sometimes I drift off and I don't hear what the instructions are, and then I don't know what to do.
So sometimes like when I'm sharing what my thoughts are about the lesson and I look around the classroom and I see people like not tracking and like not doing that, it makes me feel kind of unappreciated. So like when they track me, it makes me feel better. And like if I don't track whoever, like if we don't do hand signals and everybody just blurts out, it's like it'd make it like a zoo in there.
So, how is fourth grade preparing you to be a successful student, whether that's with agendas, tracking the speaker, note taking, or that academic language, those word walls that we use in the classroom? How have they been helping you? Annabelle?
I feel like with the agendas, they help us keep track of our schedule and learn like what we're going to possibly be doing when we get older. It will help us track. The agendas help me by like you write down your thing, and when you go home, your parents might ask you what you do at school today. And if you forgot, looking back in that book has.
And Mom?
Taught me how to take better notes and taught me how to speak.
Olivia?
The agendas that we're doing every day has helped me grow because then I'll know what we're doing for the day, and then it also keeps me organized. Yeah, and it just keeps me organized.
How fourth grade is preparing me for when I get older in fifth grade and the rest of my years in school, like in middle school and high school. How fourth grade is preparing me is the agendas like Olivia said, and also how like fourth grade like I can like it's preparing me like teaching me how to read better, and like the agendas just help me like keep organized and like so there's this page that like shows us what the week we're doing, and it just keeps me organized knowing what we're doing for the week, and like my mom and dad, they can see what we've done, and if we didn't have them, then I'd just probably go home and watch TV.
And I just think it's really cool to highlight, right? We've heard from the high school about what it looks like when they're older, right? So this is our amazing teachers who are being very brave and testing out and really experimenting with these strategies that we're seeing, like as you see when you go into their classrooms, you see the entire class doing. And it's phenomenal. All right.
All right, so class meetings. So class meetings are something that I have done for about 5 years now, but as a school, we've been doing now for 2 years. And it's really time built into our schedule for community building, for learning about each other, solving problems, and appreciating everything that everybody is doing every day. And so we get into a circle and we're all at the same level. So teacher and students are all at the same level. And we have our routine that we do each time where we have compliments and appreciations where we go around and every student has a chance. They can, there's lots of different ways to do it, but giving others compliments and also receiving compliments from others. And then solving problems. If there's problems on the playground, if there's problems in the classroom, how can we work together as a community to really build that? And then always ending in something fun and way to enjoy each other. So that was, yes, that was a picture today where we were.
And the one above, I just have to say, yes, yesterday it happened into Mr. OK Carr's classroom and his class is circled up and we're like. And I mean, I could let you speak to it because I thought it was masterful, right? Like there were things that were not working well on the Monday, right? And so instead of plowing through, he circled his class up. They talked about it. We got this problem happening right now. What are we gonna do about it? And then they were able to continue with their learning. And that's huge, right? We've seen the impact of couple of years not being at school consistently have been challenging. And so relearning a lot of those habits and skills. There's skills problem solving, right? That we as adults continue to work on. And so to know that these kids are working on this intentionally in class is really, really exciting.
And we talked a lot about looking for solutions, not blame, right?
There are a couple of videos that I can email to you. That are just their classes in action, doing the community circles and the class meetings. What I want to say about that is that I think we all know, right, that there's no group of kids that they're all always on, right? And so seeing how the community is being built, that's the foundation for any learning to happen. And so to know that they're working hard on that for that to take place, that's going to be what helps lead to those student outcomes later on. So I will email you the videos because there's a couple and they're fabulous. And there's even one where one of the students says, can you please track me to another student, right? So like the kids are helping with those pieces of accountability to each other. And I just want to end with saying that the reason this work that we're all doing is so important is because it's the bedrock for what's to come later. It's the bedrock for them to be able to achieve and to be successful academically. And so I just want to extend huge gratitude to our students and our families that came and to our amazing teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Lincoln, for bringing your students. I think that's incredibly helpful to remember why we're all here on a dark night. So I appreciate that. Are there any questions or thoughts?
I have thought, if I could, this is Member Schmidt. I feel very, very strongly that it's a strong community that develops wonderful learning. And every one of these events that you're showing up here are community events. And they're the kind of things that help these kids get through what they experienced during COVID because they were gone from community for a good 2 or 3 years. And I think any effort in that endeavor is absolutely worthwhile. Way to go. You guys were terrific.
Joe, you forgot to use your hand signal.
Oh. We did it, don't we do this for all?
Next time, maybe a little song.
Encore. Encore. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
That was
you.
beautiful. Thanks for coming.
Gonna bookend that with 4.2 graduation requirements. Director Evans, thank you parents for loving
Yeah,
your
that was
kids.
awesome. Yes, to be on that. Graduation's coming.
Feedback,
Tomorrow.
Keeping them alive.
Till they're 8 to 8.
All of those
That's right.
kids. Oh, no. There should be a PowerPoint. We're gonna update you on some changes coming with graduation requirements and answer some questions board members have had about some of the things you've heard in the news about graduation requirements and what's being suspended for a bit. So my goal is to tell you what we're currently doing and look ahead to the future and how that will roll out in District 7. I'm going to start off with the current graduation requirements. So there are three things that you have to think of when you think about graduation. The first is credits, and most students are really astute on, I have 24 credits that are required of me. Essential skills is what you're hearing a lot in the news regarding its recent postponement till the 27-28 school year. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. The essential skills are in reading, writing, and math. And we'll come back to that. And then the last piece that students have to demonstrate is what's called personalized learning requirements. So they have to have an educational plan and profile, career-related learning experience, and an extended application. And I plan to show you what those look like for Grants Pass. First off, with the credit requirement, there are, you see across the top there, we issue a regular standard diploma, a modified diploma, an extended diploma, and alternative certificate. The extended diploma and alternative certificate really only apply to students on IEP. Neither of those diplomas count in our graduation rate. So if a student completes with an alternative certificate, that counts as a non-graduate, non-completer. We have a few of those every year. The standard and the modified, you'll see the difference there is in the number of credits, particularly in the area of language arts and math, science, and social studies. There's a reduced number of required credits in that particular area. Modified diploma is typically only for students on an IEP. We do have a few students, like 1 or 2, once in a while, that can be put on a modified diploma for extenuating circumstances. In Grants Pass School District, we have a course that we require career education. We call it Career Academy. That requirement's been in place now for, it feels like about 10 years now. That's going to play a role in what's up and coming, but those are the graduation requirements for credits, how many you have to earn in each area. The personalized learning requirements, the educational plan and profile we've shared in the past, that is the student's individual, personalized, what is my path? What courses should I take starting? We start working on this in 8th grade with our students transitioning to the high school, and they created in the Naviance course planner. And they can adjust it as they go, but it's the courses that they plan to take that will help prepare them for post-secondary. Every student is required 2 career-related learning experiences. That happens through job shadows, internships. Our career day is another area. Students are asked to reflect on their career-related learning experiences as part of that requirement. And finally, the extended application. In the extended application, students are doing things like updating their resume, taking interest surveys, planning for post-secondary, what is it I want to do, applying for colleges, researching colleges, having that plan for how are they going to take everything they learned in high school and extend that and apply it to their future. So all of that's done before they graduate from high school as well.
I have a question. Can I ask a question? I'm a little bit behind as usual. Thinking back to the last slide, and this isn't pertinent to where we're driving with this presentation, but I'm just kind of curious. On the modified diploma, the electives are something like 11.5, so a lot more electives. So what is the thinking? What's the driver behind that with modified diplomas and increasing the number of electives that go towards credit?
It allows the student a little bit more flexibility based on again, it's mostly for students who are identified on an IEP and experience some disability. It allows them to focus in maybe more credits in a career area than in college prep kinds of classes. It gives them that opportunity.
Maybe more hands-on stuff, just more flexibility to choose where they could put their skills and abilities.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them might take that additional elective, maybe math is their thing and they do take 3 credits of math. They don't have to, but they're good at math, so they stick with that credit requirement, but maybe not so good in language arts, so that's where they want to get more hands-on experiences.
Totally
This
makes
kind of
sense.
depends on the student.
Thank you for that little detour.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Trish,
Thumbs up? Doing good so far?
He
You mentioned
wants to talk. He learned.
Okay.
one of those
hand gestures.
diplomas didn't count for graduation. Which one was that?
Both the extended diploma and alternative certificate.
So are they in the denominator,
They're in the denominator.
but can
Yeah.
never be?
It
And,
can't be in the numerator because they didn't finish with a standard or a modified diploma. Correct, but they did finish. It's one of the things you're gonna see that Senate Bill 3 is trying to address, but those two do not count. They count against us.
So if we have any students like that, we would never be 100%.
Correct. Yeah, Joe.
Just a question, Trish, about the English language arts, when I look at modified diploma and extended diploma. Language arts are such a weakness in our country and in our education system nationwide. And I struggle a bit when I see a modified diploma only requiring 3 and an extended diploma only requiring 2. Has there ever been thought given to alternative language arts courses that would fulfill another year in each of those that might not be as rigorous?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, that's my kind of conversation today.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as they're,
Yeah.
as long as those align to Oregon standards, and we'll go through a review process, and of course that Gladiola is considering along those lines. Yes, let me give it a little bit more perspective. District 7 extended diploma in my 17 years doing the graduation data. I think we've given 1 in 17 years. It's not a diploma given. We do give a number more alternative certificates. Those tend to be for our most fragile students. Medically fragile students is what I'm talking about. That just getting them to come to school and participate is hard enough. That typically is who, and we give maybe 2 a year on average over the years I've done this. It's not, those 2 are not widely given. You'll see the data next month, not next month, January, for graduation. We give about 20 to 30 modified diplomas in each graduating cohort, and most students earn a regular diploma. So you'll see that in our data next month,
January.
January. You get to go college.
Just
January.
looks like December out there. But
Okay. Essential skills, the big question that Tim came to me with, and I'll try to do my best to explain this. So there are essentially, it's really small, but what it says is that there are 3 essential skills requirements in the state of Oregon. 1 in reading, 1 in writing, and 1 in math. There, in addition to the credit requirements, students have to pass one of these alternative assessments. So for example, for reading and writing, there are 4 credits required to pass, to get your credit requirements. And in those English language arts classes, they have to show proficiency in reading and writing. So they're not passing those classes if they can't read and write. So what the essential skill for reading and writing it's been suspended for a number of years, is students have to take one of those alternative assessments. So you see things up there like the SAT, the PSAT, the ACT. Most of our students would take, it's not called OAKS anymore, that's how long this has been suspended, but the state assessment for reading and writing is how most students would participate or pass their essential skills, about 50% of the students. If they would pass the state assessment, then they would be considered meeting in that area. But when the state passed the opt-out, now kids can opt out of taking that test. So it takes away an opportunity for them to show their proficiency. And if they don't take any of those other assessments, and we offer a variety of them, it becomes more of a challenge. So the work sample is the key one that most students have to take, and that's in addition to, so I'm a language arts teacher, kids are writing in my class every day, showing proficiency to pass my class. And then I have to do this other thing called the work sample outside of it to help the student demonstrate that proficiency. Math is the same way. There's a variety of assessments. State assessment is the most common way kids had passed in the past. But work samples was the second most common way. So there's a reason this has been suspended, but just trying to understand how essential skills relates to what we do with credits. So why was it suspended? So Senate Bill 744 during the 2021 legislative session, the state legislators called on ODE to say, hey, wait a second, there's something going on with our graduation rate in the state of Oregon. We want you to compare. And I think you guys, Tim was telling me some data today that you guys got at the OSBA conference that I'd love for you to share again. But
In a minute.
our state has had the second.
We have the second most stringent graduation requirements in the nation, only behind Connecticut. And you heard Jim Green share that with us at the regional meeting. And was I sitting next to you, Nathan? Dustin, we started looking at the per pupil spending, and Connecticut spends $22,000 per pupil and Oregon spends $12,000 per pupil on average. So
the state legislators called on ODE to look at other state graduation models to review how equitable are we compared to other states. It called on ODE to produce a report by September of 2022 with recommendations for what we should be doing with our graduation requirements. So ODE fulfilled that, and they came up with 8 recommendations to the state legislators regarding graduation requirements. I'm not going to read all of those, but I will say there are like 4 of them up there that reference the essential skills. Essential skills is something other states do not offer. The recommendation is to retain essential skills, but to integrate it more into the extended application. So yes, I'm taking these English language arts classes. I'm showing that I'm proficient to pass the class, but how do I extend my application? How do I make sure post-secondary I'm ready for the reading and writing? That's what integrating it into the extended application implies to me. How do we help kids use those skills going forward? The Oregon Department of Ed kept the focus on math, reading, and writing proficiency. We want students to be able to read, write, and do math. So they're not trying to take that away. They're really keeping our focus on that. But is that list of tests the way to do it? How do we maintain that focus and make sure students are proficient in those areas? There are some other ones related to the essential skills up there as well, but it became very complicated. The area for the area the state did take some action on for this school year is looking at some additional credit requirements. So that takes us to Senate Bill 3. Senate Bill 3 passed this summer, and these are the new graduation requirements for the current 8th graders. So when these 8th graders come to Grants Pass High School, we will be communicating these new graduation requirements. You'll notice the bottom number is still the same, 24. And right now, there's still 4 diploma types. I do think that there's gonna be some conversation around the different diploma types, as that was one of these recommendations back here. But for now, those are our 4 diploma types. Why the incoming 8th graders? We have an obligation to make sure we're setting students up for success and that they, in that plan and profile, can build in these 2 new courses that they're going to be required to take into their 4 years at Grants Pass High School. The first one is called Higher Education and Career Path, and the second one is called Personal Financial Education. There is still a lot more to learn about these 2 classes, but here's what we know so far. And in the agenda, there's a document link. I'm not going to reference that one. Yeah, that one, check. These are clips from that. The Higher Education and Career Path skill credit requirement calls on students to learn how to apply for jobs, how to do job interviews, how to get their resume ready, how to research different educational options, how to seek financial assistance, to learn about employability skills. It's a course that sounds a lot like Career Academy. And so we feel like we are in a perfect position. We require that currently of all of our 10th graders. And when this, we don't think there's going to be a significant change to this. The state's called together a content panel. These will be educators and professionals, community members from across the state who will further develop what are the requirements in this class and what teaching license you need to hold in order to teach this class. But Career Academy, if you look at all of those little elements in there, is very much in line with that new graduation requirement. Second graduation requirement is called Personal Financial Education Credit Requirement. Things like how to balance your checkbook, how to apply for a bank account, how to file your taxes, how to create a budget, how to make sure you focus on your financial well-being. We have a class on the books at Grants Pass High School called Personal Money Management. Currently, it's an elective class that not many students elect to take. We think this class is very much in line with what this class is going to end up requiring. So again, we feel like we're in a good position. We believe right now we will require this in the junior or senior year, most applicable as you're getting ready to graduate from high school, that you would learn these skills. We will come back to the board in the spring. The state's supposed to give us the content standards, tell us what kind of license people are supposed to hold. We're going to get teachers who will put together the planned course statements, or we will revisit any tweaks we need to make to Career Academy, and you will get presentations about what these new courses will actually look like as we develop them once we get some more information. But we do think we're in a good position for both of the classes and feel poised and ready to get them off the ground. We'll begin communicating with our incoming freshmen next year what our plan is. That make sense? Okay. So having a really clear, our goal for all of our students is to help them graduate from high school. And so you've seen these goals, they're represented in our district strategic plan, or you heard about them from our longitudinal performance growth targets we have to have for our integrated plan. We have certain measurable targets that we're trying to get our students to. So by 27-28, 85% of our students will graduate. That would be with a regular or modified diploma in 4 years. And then 92% of our students will complete requirements in 5 years. And complete could include our GED as well. And so that's an update on graduation requirements and what we see happening in D7. Any other questions or?
Trish, could you back up to the overview of the credits?
The new ones?
Yeah, that one right there. Yeah. Question was second language, the arts, and CTE. So students are not required to take a second language.
No.
Okay, so college-bound students, are they told that they need to take a second?
Their counsel.
Their counsel take a second language, and they're counseled for 2 or 3 years.
But depends on the student, and what the student wants to do with it. Danny, how many
College
years of
student.
Mandarin have you taken? Is this 3?
She's taken 2.
Two.
I know about her already.
So 2 years of Spanish, 2 years of, I know this girl. I've known her since she was born. Yeah, so it depends on what she wants to do and where she's headed. And then her counselor works with her and her interests and helps shape that for her.
So the arts is not considered an elective, it's considered a requirement, but it's a choice between second language, the arts, and CTE. I got it.
What you typically see, if you were to look at a student's completed plan and profile, you will see second language arts and CTE credits in both that bucket and in the electives bucket. Because typically students are highly interested in those areas, and so they take more than the 3 credits required, and then they default to the general elective classes.
So students can leave without taking a second language, or they could potentially leave without taking an art course.
Yes. Yeah.
And is German the only language that you have the opportunity to take 4 years, or is Spanish also?
Spanish, Mandarin, and German, you can take all 4 years.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any questions about those essential skills? I will tell you from a teacher's perspective, it was an extra, I'm just gonna go back to that slide.
Notes.
That something needs to be done with these. It's not about dumbing down the system and getting rid of, we value kids being able to read, write, and do math. But how they show that proficiency can be done. That list has been difficult to navigate and cumbersome for some students to get that part of their graduation requirements done, so.
Does the law allow us to have a Grants Pass High School diploma that has additional requirements?
Yes, it does. Yep. We've talked about an honors diploma in the past. Ryan and Michelle can talk about that. Yeah, we had some different. How do we raise some rigor on that standard diploma conversation? All right, that's that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Trish.
Yep.
4.3 holiday card contest winners.
Good evening, everyone. So I get the pleasure of.
Oh.
Wow. You got me. I get the pleasure of recognizing our 2023 holiday card contest winners. I can do this. This is the 4th year of the contest. We started it in 2020 during COVID, kind of as a way to bring our school community together when we were all away. And it was a hit, so we have done it annually, and it's a lot of fun. This year we had artwork submitted from 9 schools. We had a total of 24 finalists, K-12. We had nearly 700 votes for our People's Choice Award and a total of 6 winners, including a tie. So for our district level winners, we have Hudson Arajo. He's a 1st grader at Highland. He was a K-1 winner. For our 2nd through 3rd grade winner, we have Hayden Kennedy, a 2nd grader from Riverside. And I believe that Hayden's on tonight, so congratulations, Hayden. For our 4th through 5th grade winner, this was our category that had a tie. Juliet Weston at Highland, a 4th grader. And Kanan Wardana, a 5th grader from Allendale. In our middle school category, Zane Jack from South Middle School, a 6th grader, took the 6th through 8th grade category.
Yeah.
And for our 9th through 12th grade winner was Pirata Gerber, a 9th grader from Grants Pass High School. In our People's Choice category, Kanan, the 5th grader from Allendale, was the kindergarten through 5th grade People's Choice winner. And Karada Gerber was the 6th through 12th grade People's Choice winner this year. Congratulations to all of our student artists. So each year, I think we started it the first year, but the idea was, well, these pieces of art are so great, can we purchase them? So we did go ahead and work with our print shop to create variety packs of the cards that come with envelopes each year. The sales from those card sales allow us to do prints for the students as well as some prize packs, which I don't want to give it away for the students that are on Zoom, but we'll go to their schools, deliver their artwork that'll be printed on cards for them, as well as a prize pack, just recognizing them for their participation and for winning this contest. Already I've had a lot of students say like, this is the highlight of their year. I know one of the principals said the student cried and then laughed, and then they were beside themselves that their piece of art was chosen. We also had a community member who already purchased their pack of cards and said, I look forward to the student art coming out every year. And so it's just a fun way to bring the community together. A lot of people like to send those holiday cards out this time of year, and what a better way to recognize student artists than with cards with student art on them. So yeah, the cards can be purchased through our website, or you can scan that QR code for anybody here. Those can be purchased until December 15th. And we do only sell those locally. We're not an Etsy seller, so we're not able to do shipping and packing. So we do ask that people live close enough to be able to pick them up in person.
How soon can we get them when we order, after we order?
Our print shop is taking the orders daily and starting to work through them, so we can get them pretty quick. I know Debbie already made her annual purchase.
What awesome cause do the funds go to from the person?
So that is to cover the cost of printing sets of the art for the students and a prize pack that they get.
So it's an offset. That's great.
Yeah.
So buy away, Joe.
Prize
Pardon
tag.
me?
Buy away.
Followed by 3rd grade reading.
It's a real.
Costco doesn't get my business
Yeah.
this year.
Now we're talking.
Any other questions?
No,
Thank you.
thank you. It's a neat thing. Let's see. So 5.0 superintendent report.
Well. We've been together a lot in the last few weeks. I don't think there's a lot going on that you don't know about. But I do want to make sure you understand that we do have to vote tonight whether or not to create a school board member caucus for rural schools. I think that's a great idea. We would not qualify as a rural school, as you know, but we could apply to be on that, in that caucus through OSBA. Of course, the big news of the day, if you didn't read it, was that Jim Green, executive director of OSBA, resigned yesterday, effective immediately. So they had a board meeting right at Sunday afternoon after everybody left, and apparently it didn't go well. I don't know. I've had board members ask me what I know, and I have tried to find out. So for those with piqued curiosities, but nobody's saying much. So
Might have been the food at the conference.
it could have been the kale. I'm just saying.
Could have been the kale.
For those of us that weren't there on Saturday morning, that kale came back
Recycle.
and cold. So,
Problem solved. I know what it was.
yeah, I went up and got a sandwich.
About kale and
Yeah.
Jim Green's.
And can't handle it.
But more importantly, that now means, of course, in 2023, the governor is the state superintendent of public schools, so that changed. The director of ODE has changed. The executive director of COSA will change. The executive director of TSPC has changed, and now the executive director of OSBA has changed. So all in a very short time. So big turnover over there in Salem happening. So all those people I could just pick up the phone and call or text are either gone or leaving. So time to build new relationships. And just as a FYI, Bob Stewart at Gladstone, longest serving superintendent, 25 years, is retiring at the end of the year. So those of us are starting to move up and starting to feel real old. So anyway, there you go. That's what's going on. I do want to say publicly what I wrote to you yesterday. Thank you for your commitment to our students and the district. You have put in a ton of work since September 26th, and I sent you that list of things that you've attended and participated in, and that wasn't counting any football games you might have gone to or other sporting events, any concerts or the high school play or any of the elementary things that might have been taking place. You put in a lot of effort and it is appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
Okay. So the OSBA ballot measure creating rural schools is listed under action items
Yes.
and discussion. So we can hold off on the motion or anything until then. Board reports and special concerns.
Yeah, I'd like to share something if I could, Member Schmidt. It's a anecdote I want to share that actually gives credence to the quality of the program, the EL program here at in Grants Pass. We had a brief conversation about the EL program in the what was that? The equity committee meeting a few weeks ago. And there's a young man, Paul Virampangpang, I think is the way you pronounce his last name, who graduated last year. And I got to know him about 3 years ago. He was my neighbor and I recently moved into the neighborhood. And his dad came down and introduced himself. And I told him that I'd been a former school person for many years. And he said, well, would you be willing to talk to my son? And his son is Thai. He came from Thailand when he was in the 6th grade and didn't speak one iota of English. And this young man came down in the 10th grade and he started having conversation with me. And you would have thought he was a native speaker. It was amazing how well he spoke. So we spent the next 2 years just talking about where he wanted to go to college, what he wanted to do, and his desire was to go to the Air Force Academy. And it was always going to be a struggle for him test-wise, because regardless of how well he spoke, the difference between the way the brain works in speaking and the way the brain takes a test is a different thing. And he certainly had to take the SAT to get into the Air Force Academy. But to his credit, he went through the interview and he actually received a nomination for the Air Force Academy, which I thought was remarkable for this young man who could not speak English when he was in the 6th grade. And he's a dual citizen, so he certainly was an American citizen. Long story short, I took him to lunch 3 weeks ago. He was on his way to the Air Force. Now, the good news is he's going in the Air Force. The better news is he was accepted to Southern Oregon University. And in next September, he'll begin classes there and the Air Force will be paying for it. And he'll be an officer and his desire is to be a pilot. So kudos to the EL program. They did a remarkable job with that young man. And I suspect they do that with pretty much every young person who English is a second language to them at this school. So way to go, whoever's doing that. Okay.
Anybody else?
Oh, sure. This is member Dibdall. First, I was just going to say our listening session, I was going to say last week, but I don't remember when it was.
It was.
I thought went really well, and just wanted to vocalize to the community. For me, it encouraged me in the direction that the district is going and that the board is going. So anyways, not to get into the nitty gritty of that, but it was really encouraging to me to talk to the public and have that opportunity to speak with parents and students and teachers. And I think that covers most of the people that I talked to. So and then I also wanted to highlight the band did a tremendous job this last weekend. So Grants Pass High School Marching Band and Guard went down to California. First time since I've been connected with the band that they've been down there. I know they've been down there maybe in the last 10 years, but it's been a while. And they took 2nd place in the Western Band Association Regional for Northern California, we'll say. And beat some bands that they didn't expect to beat and took 2nd to a very good Northern California band. So anyways, good job to the band and to Mr. Norfleet and his team.
And a quick shout out to our bus drivers that delivered them there and brought them home. So they gave of their Veterans Day weekend as well to make sure our students were there, and we appreciate their work as well.
And it was pretty cool. The Marines were highlighted. They actually gave out all the awards. Given that it was on Veterans Day, I thought that was really cool.
If I could say one more thing, kudos to Cassie, because the listening session that came out of Cassie's, that was a brainstorm of Cassie. So thank you, Cassie, for getting us to do that.
Best amount, but thank you.
Yeah,
Justin only gets the credit if it went bad.
you're the president.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I'll share as well. This is Member Smith. Out of the listening session, something that I heard was a concern for kind of the growing behavior issues we're having in the class, both from a parent concern standpoint, a teacher concern standpoint. I really enjoyed the listening session. I think say we should do it again, and the more people that can come out, the better. There was plenty of pizza, so.
It's like a wedding, exactly who's supposed to be there shows up.
Yeah. So it was really cool for me that when we did go to the conference in Portland this last weekend, I didn't really know, it was my first time what I was getting into, but like any conference, you can sign up to go to breakout sessions. So I went to one that was talking about integrating mental health, in the classrooms, kind of the same concerns about behavior issues in the classrooms and things like that, and how it's affecting learning, the wellness of the kids, the teachers. So I was like, interesting, that's what we just listened to. And I was really jazzed after it, just listening to some of the success stories. Also, the gears started spinning in my head because a lot of the focus was on the students. The gears started turning in my brain about, well, what does that look like for our staff and our teachers as well? So of course, there was a breakout session in the afternoon about kind of a case study for a school that was deploying a wellness program in their district. And sure enough, they kind of started their presentation with the question, how do we create a culture in our school where teachers and students show up as the best versions of themselves? And so it really spoke to me. I even went to another session that was kind of in alignment with this. And so I just came back from this conference jazzed. I want to learn more about what mental health or wellness is looking like in our district. I want to see if there's opportunities to really focus on improving the health of our staff and teachers, so they know that they are valued, that they have the time and the permission to take care of themselves, so they can take care of students in the class. And hopefully through that, they can share what they're learning with those students as well. Ultimately to create better outcomes, for our students. So definitely in the future, want to talk about this, maybe agenda item type thing, and see if there's opportunities for us to develop some of the cool initiatives that I heard. I think the goal wouldn't be to focus on spending, it's not all about money, and it's definitely not about adding more programs to teachers' plates, or more, requirements that they act like psychologists in the class and get training and that sort of thing. It's really about focusing on having a culture of wellness across the board. So, yep.
So I started collecting programs. But so went to the fall concert and I was pleased that at the participation, particularly for the kind of the Sounds Unlimited. They at least doubled in size and have new costumes. And I was thinking, got to be at least 15 years since they had new colorful vests. So congratulations there. Went to the Caveman Athletic Hall of Fame and listened to a lot of stories. The Legislative Road Show. I'm very sorry that Jim Green has stepped down. I just feel grateful that I made an effort to thank him for the job over the years that he's done, and at the road show and at the convention. He has been a strong advocate for children for a long time, and I've appreciated his efforts. And
And a
again,
strong advocate for local control.
and a strong advocate for local control. I've been working on my convention report. I already got things a little confused, so I'm glad I did it now instead of later. There's a real push for more student involvement and voices heard in the decision processes, and I've given my thoughts and notes to Tim. And I guess that's all. I thought it was interesting. So my little joke, how to put your child to sleep. Then the big bad wolf went to the county recorder's office and discovered the 3 little pigs never filed for a building permit. So, you know, we've got some little bit of building going on. We've got a little bit of how do we get the students involved with our scintillating board meetings. And we want to encourage parents to read to their children.
You have building permits, correct?
Yes.
Good.
So.
I saw them. Okay, good.
Yep. Don't have buildings.
No, but.
The crane is somewhere, but not here. But it,
Okay.
Trish, just stop it.
So as we go on to 7.0, action items and discussions. I want to remind everybody to state their names clearly into the microphone. Your time now. 7.1, approval of second and final reading of policy JGE and IGBHD.
Just
I will entertain a motion.
Sable. I motion that we adopt JGE as amended.
amended.
It's just not-
As presented.
As presented.
Would you like to do just one of them, or would you like to add a
You
second?
want to do both? Yeah, you want to-
It doesn't. We can do them. Having a motion, is there a second?
Member Schmidt seconds.
Taking a second, is there any discussion on JGE expulsion?
Member Schmidt moves that we adopt the policy on program exemptions as written.
Okay, having a second and hearing no discussion.
Wait a minute. We didn't vote on 7.11.
Need to vote on the first one first.
Getting ahead of yourself.
Correct.
Hit myself.
Oh.
Yeah, Joe got ahead of
Oh,
himself.
Joe, sorry.
Okay.
Tanya, may I have a roll call vote?
Yes.
Member Smith,
Yes.
sorry, member Schmidt,
Yes.
member Smith,
Yes.
member Brownell.
And this is on 711.
Yes.
JGE,
Yes.
Member Wilkins.
yes.
Member Sable,
Yes.
member Richardson.
Yes.
Okay,
Now, Joe.
Okay. Member Schmidt moves that we adopt policy IGBHD program exemptions as written.
Member Sable seconds.
having a second, is there any discussion?
So, Holt Gill spoke at the OSB convention, and a quote stayed with me. Stay in the discussion to get the decision that will best serve our students. This is member Brownell, by the way. I am still concerned that this policy as written will not best serve our students. I am reminded of a couple of books, Educated by Tara Westover and The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, memoirs of childhoods dominated by parents who believed that parents' rights were more important than a child's right to a public education. I'm concerned that the collaboration and discussions between districts the district and parents will have the potential of being harder and more contentious with this change. A former administrator from a Roseburg area school with a PhD in educational policy and management mentioned to me concerns about the wording of this policy in general, and every shall should have an if. If certain conditions are met, then a certain result can be expected. I am concerned that we are tying an educated hand behind administration's back if the vote is yes.
May I have a roll call vote?
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
Discussion.
sorry, I'm used to looking this way. Is there more discussion?
He's telling us to go up.
Oh, I'm tracking you.
The district will determine if the credit will be granted. There's the if.
I left out a number of comments he made in trying to be short and sweeter than I could have been.
Cassie. Comment. To me, this is about belonging. We do talk a lot about inclusion and diversity, and those are very, very important things. And we want every student, no matter who they are or what they look like, to feel welcome in our schools and to feel like they belong. And, you know, unfortunately, with the best data that we currently have, we do understand that there are some students who may be harassed or bullied more than others. And that's a horrible thing. And I would love to see us work towards ending that for whatever reasons that may happen. But I also see when I look around this community and around the state, that there are certain families and students that feel like some of the content and some of the curriculum that we have is such an affront to their culture, to their family culture and their traditions, that they actually flee education and they leave public schools. And so to any extent that we could help them feel more welcome and more belonging, I want to do that. And that's why I'm voting yes on this. If there is something that is an affront to their family culture or to them as human beings, I want to be able to give them the option to say, you know what, we want to do something different and not feel like they have to leave our amazing public schools.
All right. Double checking both sides, both ways. Tanya, may I have a roll call vote?
Member Dipdahl.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Member Smith,
Yes.
Member Brownell,
No,
Member Wilkins,
Yes.
Member Sable,
Yes.
Member Ricketts.
Yes.
Okay. 7.2, approval of first reading of policies. We can take them together or together as I look this way.
Gary had a comment.
Oh, sorry, Gary.
You're not tracking.
Thought you were trying to get a ride.
Member Richardson, I move that we approve 7.2.1 through 7.2.9. First reading of policies.
Member Dibdall seconds.
Having a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none. Tanya?
Member Dipdahl,
Yes.
Member Schmidt,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Member Brownell,
yes,
Member Wilkins,
Yes.
Member Sable,
Yes.
Member Ricketts.
Yes.
All right. 7.3, Community School Boards of Oregon. I'm blind to you tonight.
This is Member Richardson, and the next agenda item, Community School Boards of Oregon, is an organization that I am involved with as an officer, and so to remove any real and perceived potential conflicts of various interests, I'm going to actually exit the room. So somebody has to let me know when.
Okay, good. That was my next question. You can
Don't
go
let the
back.
door hit.
Do we really?
Yeah.
Kristen needs to be put in the Zoom room.
We need all the snacks,
She got it.
Gary. All right. We're looking for a motion.
Oh, we're looking for a motion. Oh, I
Yes.
thought we- Okay, okay. I'm Member Schmidt. I move that we join the Community Board of, or the, excuse me, the Community School Boards of Oregon organization.
Member Sable seconds.
Having a second, is there any discussion?
I think it's a waste of money. Member Brownell. The small organization with 4 officers and 2 districts. And I don't think we need to pay money to tell the world that we're conservative.
Member Schmidt, most of the representation that we get seems to lean towards the high population areas of the state. And the smaller communities such as ours and the others, even smaller rural districts, don't seem to get the kind of representation and at the state level that we would like to have. So I think that's one reason that's really important. The second reason is, even though it's a small number, if we join, there's the potential that others will join as well. In other words, it's a fairly new organization. We will be the 3rd one joining. There's others that are talking about it right now, and I think that might push them over the top as well. And I think it's very important that these districts that are outside of Portland and Salem and the larger populated areas have the kind of representation that they get at the state level. So I think that's very, very important. I think it's well worth the money. I think we've been assured that it's not going to impact budget in a way that's gonna hurt the district. And that's kind of where I stand on it.
Member Sable, since we brought up political boxes, I just want to say, Member Brownell, that I actually fit more into a classical liberal box. So I don't know if you could say we are conservative, because I'm sort of classical liberal, maybe with a little bit of touch of conservatism and a big independent streak. Just to make it clear. But I think to have multiple lobbying organizations is an important thing. And I think it's beneficial. And this opportunity has presented itself, and I think we should take it. And and there's a lot of organizations that have more than one lobbying association for them. So.
Member Schmidt, I'd like to say one more thing to it. It also does not impact our relationship with OSBA.
No.
We continue to have a strong impact with them, and they would continue to lobby for us as well as would be appropriate.
This is Member Dibdall. Well, I can appreciate financial concern. $6,000 or actually less than for the next, if we were to do this from January through July, doesn't seem like an exponential amount of money to me relative to the amount of money that the district spends on many other things. Also, with Jim Green leaving OSBA, we are now potentially losing someone that is advocating for local control. I believe we can all appreciate that CSBO would be advocating for local control. So I think this is actually a really opportune time to make a move this way. It's not away from OSBA, as Joe just mentioned, but I think that's really important.
That's well said. That's absolutely right.
Okay. Tanya. May I have a roll call vote?
Right. Did we get it first in a second?
Yeah, Joe and Chad. No, Nathan, I apologize.
Joe and Nathan. Member Dibdall,
Yes.
member Schmidt,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
member Brownell,
No,
member Wilkins,
Yes.
member Sable,
Yes.
member Richardson.
No, he's recused himself.
If we have to let him back in the room. I guess we
Gary.
can now.
Come back.
Maybe he's out kitchen or right.
Um, oh. Okay. So if we could wait. Needing convincing to come back in.
There's an amazing number of candy bowls out there.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. 7.4 OSBA Board of Directors elections. So we have 7.4.1 Legislative Policy Committee candidate. Of one, Sarah Crawford. And entertain a motion.
I would move to vote for Sarah Crawford.
There's a second.
Second, member Richardson.
Having a second, is there any discussion?
I have been this is member Brownell. I've been impressed with the dedication and hard work and many hours of poring over legislation and lobbying and efforts made on everyone's account. And wish to encourage her to continue.
I agree. Okay. Anya?
Member Dibdall,
Yes.
member Schmidt,
Yes.
member Smith,
Yes.
member Brownell,
Yes,
Wilkins,
Yes.
member Sable.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, 7.4.2 resolution vote information. Sidebar. These are not due until December 15th. And we do have a meeting on the 12th. Everybody's not comfortable. With the resolution. It's not. 7.4.1.1 resolution number 1 creates the rural school board members caucus and designate a seat on the OSBA Board of Directors and Legislative Policy Committee.
member Brownell, I move that we vote to create the rural school board members caucus as per resolution number 1.
Second,
Member Dibdall seconds.
having a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none.
Sorry, I guess maybe I'm the only one, but I guess I need a little explanation exactly what we're voting for here.
You read it?
Well, yeah.
This will create a new permanent subcommittee
Caucus in OSBA.
in
We're
OSBA.
not voting on our membership because we have to be selected.
Correct.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's qualifying.
But what we're really voting on is changing the bylaws of OSBA,
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
which is the next.
And going forward, this is member Dibdall. I would just recommend that we do appeal to be in that,
Absolutely.
however quickly
Yeah.
and everything begins. That would be wise.
It sounded, I'm sorry, it sounded like from the side discussions that was going on, that there's a good chance that appeal could be successful.
Yes. We have been told that. Yeah, we pushed really hard to actually be considered as a rural district, but our size does not allow that, so.
What's it under, was it under 17,000 or under 15,000, something like that?
20.
20.
For the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you have schools under 400.
400, yeah.
So we have schools that are under 400, which would allow us to appeal to beyond this
The original conversation
GP flexing. But
started to define what is rural. And early on, one of them was, does your community have a Walmart? Which was interesting. They've expanded since then and have it a little more defined.
Eagle points out of their ear.
Should have been in college.
Costco.
I remember when Granite Pass only had 20,000.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay,
Wasn't that
Gary?
long ago. It's like 20 years ago.
What I heard was rural is a state of mind. And so it's easy to get.
to put that under
That sounds like
application of
a
appeal.
country song.
Done.
Member Goodall,
Yes.
Member Schmidt,
Yes.
Member Smith,
Yes.
Member Brownell,
Yes,
Member Wilkins.
Yes.
Member Sable.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 2 adopts the proposed amendments to the OSBA bylaws. And changing the bylaw. Would entertain a motion?
Member Brownell will move to accept resolution number 2 and change the bylaws for OSBA.
Member Schmidt seconds.
Having a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, Tanya.
Member Goodall,
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yes.
Member Smith.
Yes.
Member Brownell,
Yes,
Member Wilkins.
Yes.
Member Sable.
Yes.
Member Richardson.
Yes.
8.0 future meeting dates and suggested agenda items. We already did that one, 8.1. November 14th. Oh, there's some dates. Do what? I thought Tanya. 8.3, November 27th, 5 p.m. executive session. 8.4, December 12th, at 2:30, integrated and strategic planning. Brownell, Schmidt, and Richardson. On December 12th at 5. On December 14th.
and December 14th, if you want to do mock interviews.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
There's also a facilities meeting on November 20th.
oh, yes, next week facilities. Is that Monday?
Monday, 9 a.m.
Monday at 9 a.m.
Right. We will now recess. General session.
I think review in your file.
Yeah, we should. All right, let's reconvene general session. Looking for motions.
If we'd like, I'd certainly like to thank the staff and Tim certainly for giving us the opportunity to go to that conference. It was extremely helpful. There was some really good stuff that came out of that.
Glad you found it helpful. Thought the conversations at meals was every bit as important as the conference itself. Good stuff.
Member Brownell, I move that we accept 10.2.1 GPA MOU concession manager position and 10.2.2 GPA MOU on SMILE program.
Member Schmidt seconds.
Having a second, is there discussion? No discussion. Tanya.
Member Goodall,
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yes.
Member Smith.
Yes.
Member Brownell,
Yes,
Member Wilkins.
Yes, sorry.
Member Sable.
Yes.
Member Richardson.
Yes.
All right. General session. After cutting it very off.